The court convicted Adam in what was the first known conviction over someone's thought in modern British history. We've really never seen anything like this before in the United Kingdom, really in the West for a long, long time. Adam was convicted of breaching the rules of the buffer zone with the thoughts of his mind.
My name's Adam Smith-Connor, and I became a Christian in April 2017. And soon after my baptism, I became pro-life after I looked into the abortion issue, and I wanted to do something about it. I went to pray outside the clinic. Now, there's a buffer zone there now, which started at the end of October, as I recall. So usually we would have a phone number which people could phone for support. We might have some leaflets with details of crisis pregnancy centres where people can go and get help. We would just stand and pray, and hopefully people would take a leaflet or phone the number. But I didn't do that on this occasion because the buffer zone had been introduced. So I want to be a law-abiding citizen. I don't want to break the law. So I liaised with the police and the council. I said I wouldn't be holding any signs. I wouldn't have any leaflets. I would be very careful not to infringe upon anyone's privacy. So I wasn't even facing towards the clinic. There was a tree between me and the entrance to the clinic, so you wouldn't have seen me. And in truth, on that day, if you had seen me, you would have thought I was simply waiting for a taxi. So I arrived, and shortly after my arrival, I was approached by two council officers. They weren't actually police, but council enforcement officers. And they came up, and they're very polite. They came up and they asked me, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm praying. And remarkably, they asked me, what is the nature of your prayer? Literally probing into my mind as to what it was I was praying about.
Just for your awareness, you are in an area which is governed by a public space protection order. I don't know if you're aware.
I am aware
of that public space protection order. They also call it a safe zone. There are signs located in the area just to make you aware of that and the area where certain activities are prohibited.
Sure. Yeah.
In terms of that, can I ask what is the nature of your prayer today?
What is the nature of that? I'm praying for my son.
They knew that my son had died in an abortion, and so on that basis they asked that I leave the area. But I asked them why they were asking me to leave the area, and they said, well, because you're praying. But I don't believe that prayer can ever be considered a criminal act or an evil act or a crime in any way, shape or form. So I said, I'm not harassing anyone. I'm not approaching anyone. I'm not even looking at anyone. And I made it clear to them, if I'd said to you I was waiting for a taxi, what would be the issue here? Because that's what anyone, unless you asked me, that's what you would think I was doing. And I think this has frankly horrific implications for England. The idea that the state has empowered itself to peer into people's minds and criminalize your very thoughts should terrify every freedom-loving Englishman, quite frankly. It doesn't really matter whether you're pro-life or pro-choice. The abortion issue really is a side issue here, really. This is really a freedom issue. And if we so empower the state that it can make your very thoughts a criminal act, then every one of us is in trouble, because you might agree with the government today, but in the future there could be a government you disagree with. But once you've established that thought crime is a thing, then there's no stopping what they can do.